We had no income tax. The income tax came in 1913. As I said in my speech last week, instead of taxing our citizens to enrich foreign nations, we should be tariffing and taxing foreign nations to enrich our citizens. Does that make sense, right? Director of National Intelligence. Oh, where's TULSI? She's like hotter than everybody. She's the hottest one in the room right now because she found out with certainty. I think we knew it before, in all fairness, TULSI, but now you have certainty. She has all the documents. She has everything that you need. And she found out that Barack Hussein Obama led a group of people and they cheated in the elections, and they cheated without question. It's not even a quote. Would you say there's even a little question there, TULSI? She says no. And you found things that nobody thought we'd ever find. And very happy and very honored to have you with us. She's right now, by far, Speaker, she's hotter than you right now, Speaker. She's the hottest person in the room right now, Speaker.
The Fed is the house. It's a casino. The casino doesn't lose money. The players are the ones that lose money. And I'm not going to comment. I'm like you. I don't really understand what's going on with the size, the scope, the cost of the building renovations. One can ask, was it a good idea to start the renovations for an enterprise that's losing $100 billion a year? So $100 billion because of a mismatch in the bond portfolio from the short-term rates. And I think that the Fed should undertake an internal review because I think all the other operations are endangering its independence of monetary policy. As I've said, monetary policy should be kept independent. It's a jewel box, should be walled off. But by undertaking all these other activities, then you come in for criticism, just like you're seeing here, that might impinge on monetary independence.
And unfortunately, there is very, very little news. On the bond side, there is nothing that is confirmable. Unfortunately, I have some exciting stories, but they're not in any way confirmable. And as a matter of fact, two of them, as I did some research right before the stream, I managed to refute. And so I'm not going to share those. But pretty much silence on the bond side. Iraq side, we actually have a lot of good news. Erbil and the government, in terms of the Kurdish oil exports, seem to be reaching a point in which they're going to start facilitating them again. That's particularly good news. One other thing that is odd and is something that we've been told about for a very, very long time, and in all honesty, it's the one piece of news on the RV or currency side that, as of today, I'm kind of interested in. It is specifically the fact that the Iraqi government has limited cash withdrawals via ATMs for the citizens of Iraq. And that is going into effect as of today. And that is something that we have heard about for a very long time, would be a part of the general process, because there was going to be an extreme issue with cash withdrawals when we're going through any type of change in terms of the exchange rate. Other than that, it has been complete silence.
I just took a quick break to pop on, guys. I'm getting a ton of rumors right now, phone calls coming out of the Reno area where money may have started moving. Don't get too excited yet. We will, I'll be doing a deep dive this evening. I'll have answers in the morning on that front.
Yep.
That was the breaking news that I had to rush here and do before I get back to work. All right.
All right.
We list our amount of currency in the trust when you put it in there. When you, let's say you had 5 million dinar, 2 million dong. Do you list it individually that you're putting it in there, or you just do the deposit, put the money in it?
You know, I always start with kind of generic, various amounts of various international currencies, and then get more descriptive as I move forward. So, you know, there's people that have done spreadsheets and listed each bill, you know, serial number, et cetera, et cetera. To me, the best easiest would just be, I have 5 million dong. I have, 100 million dinar, whatever. And just the important thing is that the assets are clearly described so that the trustee knows what they're managing.
About a nonprofit I think maybe people are like Zim in general. If you're not doing a project, I don't think you need a trust. I think you only need it for the extra money that comes with a project.
Absolutely. That's what we've been told time immemorial.
And I think people are of the mindset, well, if I have any Zim, I'm going to need a trust. One, do I think people should have one? Yes. Do I think you have to have one to exchange? No.
No.
Do I think you want to sign up to expose yourself? Once you have money, so many shady people are going to come after you for the money. I mean, this is honestly why you need a trust more than anything.
Yeah. Well, it's the lottery effect, right? People find out that you're going to find relatives that you never even knew you had. You're going to have best friends coming over with business ideas that are, absolutely nonsensical, looking for some of your money. Got to keep it to yourself.
You add things like land, your car. How do you put them in the trust? Let's say it's in your name. Let's say you like WKW. Let's say, wait, I messed that one up. Hit the wrong button. Do you have to add the currency before the exchange? Do you add the money after you exchange? I guess maybe a checklist in order might be good for them.
Well, to me, if you're going to create a trust, then you're crazy not to put your currency into the trust before you go to the exchange and have the trust through the trustee or authorized representative be the one that exchanges or redeems. You don't have to have a trust. I just think that, the benefits of a trust, revocable, irrevocable. Irrevocable has a lot more benefits to it in terms of insulation from liability, but both afford privacy, some level of insulation from liability, save on probate costs, which are prohibitive. And especially with the irrevocable trust, then you're going to have big savings in terms of estate taxes. And revocable can as well, but it's part of your estate. So, there's a limit on that. So I agree with you. I just think you're crazy not to have a trust because you want to keep this stuff private and quiet to avoid those people coming out of the woodwork.
What if we want to stay private with our wealth? Wouldn't a trust or a few trusts give more anonymity?
Absolutely more anonymity. I mean, the only person that's going to know about your trust is the person that you tell. Obviously, you're going to have to tell the bank when you go in and open up an account. You're going to, have to tell a lender when you go in and get a loan, for a car or whatever. And getting back to that previous question, Mark, in terms of conveying cars and property and things like that into a trust, again, if there's a lender involved, they've got to approve the conveyance into the trust. If it's owned free and clear, then it's just a simple matter of a quitclaim deed, really, just conveying it into the trust and then going and having that recorded, just like you would. Personally, when you buy a piece of property, because understand the trust is just a person in a legal sense. So the trust can do anything that any person could do, anything that you or I could do legally. The trust can do. It can enter into contracts. It can make investments. It can do all kinds of things, just like you or I.
Yeah, speaking of you or I, Soul Surfer, do I need to be having annual meetings? Question mark. What would that look like if it's just me? Would you get together, roll down to the local Whataburger, sit down, have a fries, and say, I like how this trust is working. Meeting adjourned.
It really is. I mean, it's one of those things where you have to look at it in terms of capacity. So, what capacity are you operating in? I'm operating in one sense as a grantor, and then I'm operating as a trustee. Grantor trusts are the most common trust that you're going to find out there. And you have to have annual meetings. You have to have at least one meeting per year. And most of the time, there's not a whole lot going on. So no material changes took place during the past year. You put together some minutes that memorialize that, and you put it in the file and you move on. And it's like that situation where, you're over here, here I'm the trustee, here I'm the grantor, and I'm signing it as the trustee. You always have to be very careful about designating the capacity in which you're operating. So as trustee, but it doesn't have to be complex. Okay, this is just a matter of record keeping.
Basically, you take a piece of paper and said, "Man, it was a good year. No changes. Signed, trustee, Soul Surfer." Throw it in the file.
Throw it in the file. Exactly.
Entifadh Qanbar posted on X, and it was translated to English by Grook. Important. The Trump administration refuses the visit of Iraqi Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani to Washington, according to high-level sources. The same sources also confirmed to me that the Trump administration does not support a second term for Prime Minister al-Sudani. And the reasons behind this we have warned about repeatedly. And he posted this 10:48 a.m. July 25th, 2025. There was a post on X or Twitter by a user name is spelled Entifadh, surname Qanbar spelled Qanbar. He must be Iraq. And posted 10:48 a.m. July 25th. He said, important. The Trump administration refuses the visit of Iraqi Prime Minister Mohammed al-Sudani to Washington, according to high-level sources. The same sources also confirmed to me that the Trump administration does not support a second term for Prime Minister al-Sudani. It's understandable to feel concerned when social media reports claim that high-level diplomacy is blocked or political fate is decided. Let's closely review the information. Assessing the claim from X Twitter, user Entifadh Qanbar posted on July 25th at 10:48 a.m. stating, important. The Trump administration refuses a visit by Iraqi Prime Minister Mohammed al-Sudani to Washington and does not support a second term for him, according to high-level sources. What verified sources show? 1. No confirmation the visit was refused. There are multiple credible reports of al-Sudani visiting Washington. For example, U.S. officials previously reported that he met with President Biden in April 2024. This visit was the result of a long-planned meetings and indicates diplomatic engagement, not refusal. While it's true that U.S.-Iraq relations are tense and cautious under Trump due to his rollback of Iranian waivers and regional strategy, no official media or U.S. government source has ever stated that they refused a formal invitation by al-Sudani. 2. No public evidence that Trump blocks second term. Analysts note that al-Sudani's premiership relies on a fragile coalition, including Iran-aligned militias, and U.S. policy under Trump remains adversarial toward those same factions. However, there is no verified statement from the Trump administration explicitly denying support for al-Sudani's reappointment. The US has not formally stated it will oppose him in Iraqi politics. Bottom line, the tweet appears to be speculative or based on unnamed sources, not on confirmed governmental announcements. There is no verifiable evidence that the Trump administration has formally refused a visit from or expressed opposition toward al-Sudani's second term. What is clear from reputable sources is increasing US pressure on Iraq, particularly around militia disarmament and energy independence, which indirectly affects al-Sudani's political positioning. Evolving AI. Denmark is fighting AI by giving citizens copyright over their own face, voice, and body to protect against deepfakes. Donald J. Trump on Truth. The Trump effect. 5.2 trillion total investments secured. ANNMARIEF posted on X. Praying it in. This is what we need. The process of sending funds to the Kurdistan region has been completed. A source from the Iraqi Ministry of Finance to Rudor. The mechanism for sending money from Baghdad has been completely completed, and the Central Bank of Iraq will be informed to deposit the funds into the account of the Ministry of Finance of the Kurdistan region. Inside paper on X. Last edited 3:08 p.m. 7/24/25. Just in. Trump to sign order pushing cities and states to remove homeless people from streets into treatment centers. USA Today. Zoom news posted 5:08 a.m. 7/23/25. Breaking. The Iraqi Finance Ministry will disperse overdue May salaries tomorrow to civil servants and security personnel in the Kurdistan region, after recently completing all required procedures, a ministry source told Zoom News. And then I asked this question to ChatGBT. Can President Trump have an outcome in regards to Prime Minister al-Sudani of the Iraq's outcome in regards to his re-election? Here's the latest clarity on whether President Trump can influence the re-election outcome of Iraqi Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani. What we know, US-Iraq dynamics. 1. Pragmatic engagement by al-Sudani. Shortly after Trump's 2024 election win, Prime Minister al-Sudani publicly congratulated him and expressed Iraq's desire to strengthen bilateral relations, shifting past the 2021 arrest warrant towards strategic coordination. Reports indicate al-Sudani is seeking a practical working relationship with Trump, despite internal pushback from Iran-aligned Shiite factions who view such rapprochement as a threat. 2. US strategy, economic pressure and militia control. The Trump administration is reportedly pressing Iraq to disarm Iranian-backed militias, integrate them under state control, or punish them via sanctions if they resist. Analysts foresee a reliance on economic and financial levers, rather than military force, to reshape Iraq's internal power structures and curb Tehran's influence. Can Trump influence al-Sudani's re-election outcome? Short answer, indirectly, yes. How? Political leverage. Trump's administration could withhold military aid, intelligence cooperation, or economic support if al-Sudani doesn't align with Washington's agenda. Militia policy enforcement. Success in disarming Iran-aligned militias may solidify control for factions supportive of US engagement, boosting political stability for al-Sudani. Regional balancing. A visible US-Iraq alignment could deter Iran-aligned parties from overt power grabs in upcoming elections. But domestic resistance remains strong. Many Shia political factions view Trump's return as a threat and may mobilize against any al-Sudani alliance with the US as undermining sovereignty. The judiciary and parliament wield influence. Figures like Judge Faik Zaidan, who protected Iran-aligned interests and may challenge executive influence, remain powerful veto points. Summary table. Factor: US aid, sanctions. Trump's potential influence, high leverage over Iraqi government alignments. Internal Iraqi dynamics. Skepticism from Iran-aligned factions. Factor: militia control. Trump's potential influence, pressure for state control of armed groups. Internal Iraqi dynamics. Strong loyalty to Iran among PMF factions. Factor: economic tools. Trump's potential influence, use of financial sanctions, intelligence networks. Internal Iraqi dynamics, domestic political coalition tensions. Factor: public diplomacy. Trump's potential influence, visibility of cooperation can shift public narrative. Internal Iraqi dynamics. Lastly, judicial legal rulings remain independent. Bottom line: Trump does not directly appoint or remove Iraqi leaders, but his administration's use of economic pressure, military aid, and regional strategic positioning can significantly affect al-Sudani's political viability and re-election chances. I thought I would ask this question to ChatGPT in regards to What would it take for Iraqi Prime Minister al-Sudani to remove the militia and their government, given that half of their military consists of Iranians? Removing militias from the Iraqi government, especially when Iranian-backed groups make up a large part of Iraq's military structure, is one of the most dangerous and complex challenges Prime Minister al-Sudani faces. Here's a clear breakdown of what it would take. Why it's so difficult. Iranian-backed militias, PMF, Hashad al-Shaibi, are not just armed groups. Many are officially recognized by law under the umbrella of the Iraqi security forces, heavily infiltrated into ministries, parliament and judiciary, financially backed and ideologically aligned with Iran, known to intimidate or eliminate political opponents. These militias aren't rogue, they are part of Iraq's power structure. What would be required to remove or disarm them? 1. Strong US backing plus sanctions. Trump's administration could offer security guarantees to al-Sudani, targeted sanctions against militia leaders, some already exist, freeze access to dollar auctions at the central bank to force compliance. Effect: pressures militias financially without direct military confrontation. 2. Support from the Federal Supreme Court. Iraq's judiciary, led by Judge Faik Zaidan, would need to approve decrees limiting PMF control, overturn or review laws legitimizing militias under the Ministry of Defense. But Faik Zaidan has historically sided with Iran-linked interests. 3. Constitutional reform or executive order. Sudani could attempt to pass legislation redefining the role of PMF militias, an executive order to fold them into a new National Guard or police body. Warning: this would face violent backlash from groups like Badr Organization or Kataib Hezbollah. 4. International coalition support. Involvement of UN, NATO and Gulf countries in peacekeeping, retraining and rebuilding, programs to reintegrate willing fighters into civilian life or official military, disarmament and job placement programs, DDR strategy used in other post-conflict states. 5. A domestic political earthquake. Al-Sudani would need a loyal majority in parliament, a split within the PMF factions, e.g. if some turn nationalist versus pro-Iran, support from Sadris or Sunni blocs to isolate the pro-Iranian militia wings. This would likely involve striking deals with unlikely allies. What's the risk? Civil war level backlash. Militias may refuse to disarm and mobilize against the government. Assassinations or coup attempts. High risk to Sudani's life or administration. Iranian retaliation through economic pressure, sabotage or political destabilization. Realistically, what would it take? Condition: US and Gulf security guarantee. Feasibility: medium, needs Trump admin coordination. Conditions: Sudani's full control of parliament. Feasibility: low, PMF bloc remains influential. Condition: internal militia fractures. Feasibility: medium, some PMF factions resent Iran's overreach. Condition: support from Judiciary Zaidan. Feasibility: low, currently pro-Iranian influence remains strong. Public pressure from Iraqi people. Feasibility: growing, but still fragile and easily suppressed. Bottom line: al-Sudani can't simply remove the militias, he must reshape the system that empowers them. That would require coordinated international pressure, domestic parliamentary alignment, a careful plan for integration or dismantlement, and a high level of personal risk. Key Iranian-backed militias in Iraq and their government influence. Badr Organization. That's a high percentage. Interior Ministry, Parliament, Judiciary. Hezbollah, Defense Ministry, Intelligence, Border Forces. Asaib Ahi Alaq, Parliament, Education, Communications. Harakat al-Nujaba, Oil Ministry, Religious Affairs. Hezbollah al-Nujaba, Defence Ministry, Foreign Missions. Sariya al-Salam, Sadris, Health, Municipal Services, Popular Uprising Zones. So can the RV go ahead with this information? I hope so. We'll just have to see. Until only. Bruce's big call. Where are we now? As usual, use discernment. You know how every week when he has Intel update and nothing happens and we haven't received our notifications, but be excited that this is going to happen. Don't be negative at all, because he's just a messenger. Info that's coming from the Redemption Center's leaders or wherever his sources are. If the notifications are delayed, well, it's not his fault. In my opinion, I think Bruce is going to answer a trust question first. There is no contract rate on the ZIM, and the note is a bond to be redeemed. And the contract rate is only on the Dinar, and it's very high. And if it's not offered, you can ask for that rate. And DJT wants us to have that rate. Now trust. They would prefer you to have a trust to come into the Redemption Center with it. For those that have it, if you don't have one, they would like you to get one as soon as possible after your exchange. And Bruce saying they will be able to help you with that. You do not have to have a trust to do your exchange. And then, of course, it's still in your name, and the trust takes it out of your name. So basically, you own nothing, but you control everything. One more question from Sue. This is about med beds. A question about those 6 recommendations that we are allowed to put forward for an appointment. I'm sure Sky said 10. Bruce's answer, he has some people not in the currencies, but one in particular he wants to get into a medbed, but that person wants to see how Bruce's medbed experience goes first. But Bruce saying, look at your list, and if there is someone with a dire need, you must at least put those name and phone numbers forward at the exchange. There was quite a bit of discussion on this, so I suggest you listen to this part on the call. On the recording if you want to know more. This is, of course, is a personal referral, and that really counts to get someone into a medbed appointment. And this, after all, is all about relationships. But I posted that video on Sky or Kirian's audio that even if you have Zim and you've got maybe 6 or 10 on your list, you have to be approved for funding. So if you don't get approved for funding, you and your 6 or 10 people will have to wait till it's announced to the public. The other thing is that, if you remember, I always post information that Sky or Kerry announces regarding the 6 or 10 people, because I'm sure she said 10. Then of course Wolverine mentioned 10 as well. So you have to explain clearly to that person the process of the medbed, that if they want to have an early appointment, to get their number, and you will provide it to the person at the Redemption Centre with space. And then when the medbed team call, that person has to be, if they don't know about it, if you haven't explained it to that person, and the medbed team call, and you haven't explained it to that person, then if that person says, oh, who are you? After they've introduced themselves, and the operator would just basically say, oh, I'm sorry to trouble you, or something like that, and end the call. So, alright, moving on. Where are we now in relationship to notifications? There are meetings over the next several days, including DJT and top financial people and military, and they are determining when to let the notifications go out and trying to decide either Monday or Tuesday for Tier 4B. And that could be notifications for everybody and other tiers, maybe not the public, but this coming Monday or Tuesday, and we'll be exchanging the next day. What else is important? But those notifications is all we really want. Iraq will bring out the new rate on Sunday and on the Forex early next week. So does he mean that Sudani's going to announce that rate because he needs to announce it publicly? Bruce saying Nazara and Jazeera. So Doge payments, first, second and third, and R&R, and that will be in our QFS account already. But the Doge payment is done alphabetically by your name over those first few days of August, and those payments will be substantial. So all in August, and also an increase in Social Security. And again, it will be pretty nice increase. But our exchanges are really the most important for us. So these are all really substantial and also additional information by the end of the first week and into the second week. So about no taxes and no property taxes, etc. And all coming out between August and November is what Bruce was saying. He was told today. So if you don't have currencies, these payments are going to be really important for you. And then add that birth certificate and marriages and deaths and divorce decrees all traded upon us and our names. And even now Bruce has brought up about the death of a child. Wow. Bruce saying he's not sure on that last one mentioned. Bruce saying we are in a good time and have an enjoyable weekend. And on Sunday night, they are doing tests on phone, internet and Starlink before they release those notifications early Monday, Tuesday. And so we should all be excited. Now Bruce has gone into talking about Sue and that one program about Medbeds, blah, 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 etc., etc., etc. Fingers crossed. This is the beginning of the new golden age. Don't worry if others don't see it yet. The future is ours. The illusion is almost gone. And when the truth finally comes to light, you'll understand exactly why you were born for this moment. By Ben Dinklin.